For most people, growing old means watching memories fade. For Dick Van Dyke, it has meant watching an entire world disappear. The laughter, the studios, the familiar faces, all slowly slipping into history while he remains. At nearly 102 years old, Dick is no longer just an actor from Hollywood's golden age. He is one of the very last living bridges to it. Long before fame became loud and disposable, Dick Van Dyke represented something simple and rare, joy that felt honest. His comedy was physical, warm, and inviting. On screen, everything looked effortless. Off-screen, it was anything but. Beneath the smiles and perfectly timed jokes, Dick carried years of quiet struggle. Depression followed him even at the height of his success, and alcohol became a way to survive the pressure of always being the happy one. At the peak of his career, when his name alone could fill theaters, Dick often felt hollow. He later admitted that success didn't fix what was broken inside, it only made it harder to hide. Relationships strained. Health issues crept in. And in an era where men were expected to endure in silence, asking for help felt almost impossible. Recovery came slowly, not as a public triumph but as a private decision to keep living. Over time, Dick chose clarity over escape, even when it meant facing pain he had spent years avoiding. That choice likely gave him something few expected: time. But time carries its own cost. As the decades passed, Dick began to outlive nearly everyone who had walked beside him. Co-stars, friends, collaborators, names that once filled soundstages became memories. Longevity brought loneliness. Each birthday became quieter. Each celebration came with fewer voices who truly understood where he had been. Physically, age has been relentless. Movements once full of energy now require care. The body that danced across rooftops no longer obeys the way it once did. Yet his spirit has refused to harden. Even now, Dick still smiles easily. He still believes in kindness. He still chooses joy, not because life has been gentle, but because he knows how rare it is. At this stage of life, there are no comebacks left to plan. No legacy left to prove. What remains is presence. A man who stayed soft in a world that rewarded toughness. A man who survived fame, addiction, loss, and time itself. And maybe that's the quiet truth behind his story. Not that he lived this long, but that he lived without letting the world turn him bitter.